This is my experience living in a van in a winter weather advisory in Wyoming, riding it out in days below zero, not getting above 15-20 degrees throughout the day. I was there on a mission, and that's to catch a trout with my good friend Bennett. We show commitment and consistency trying to get this fish in these freezing temps, but maybe some would just call it stupidity.
Trying.
It is the day after Thanksgiving. We are in Laramie, Wyoming, which currently is under a winter storm warning. And I wasn't planning on filming today, but I feel like I think I should, just to share what a terribly cold day in a van looks like for me. We started the morning just by going through emails while still laying in bed, looking out the window to the snow, blowing in the parking lot, looking through the ice on the windshield. I let the heater run pretty much all morning, but noticed that it was running pretty funny, most likely because my batteries were really cold and they weren't happy to have the power being drawn. Finally got warm enough in here to where I felt like I was gonna get up and do the dishes, and when I got up to do the dishes, I found that my water tank, my water system is currently frozen. So Cassie has just been extremely snuggly. With 0-degree temps, I'd love to stay in bed all day, but the plan is to get out and do a little bit of fly fishing today and figure out a plan for a full day of fly fishing tomorrow. Goodness. Okay, go down. Go outside. Going down. Cassie's like, that, it's cold. Going outside. Good girl. Go down. Go down. Doesn't feel that bad out here. Well, I'm looking forward to the fly fishing. I'm also stoked on just eating some chicken sandwiches, brownies, and playing some video games tonight. Like, let me back to my house. It's cold. Brr. Oh, wow. My water moves when I turn on the water faucet, but the water pump makes some really strange noises. So. Also, they got me on a Black Friday deal. I've only had enough power now to play video games. I hope that the roads aren't too icy and snowy. I heard that I-80 was either closed or going to be closed or was closed. So we'll see how the roads are out there. I'm not too worried. Oh my gosh, look at this. That is beautiful. I'm gonna check on the water pump real quick. Okay, I don't see any massive amounts of water. We're off. I think I-80 might be closed. There's a bunch of fire trucks parked like right there. I just remembered I don't have ABS or traction control because that's for the weak. Crank the heat. It's cold. Heat wave really warmed up here in the middle of the day. There's a lot of really cool buildings down by the campus in Laramie. All morning I've been gearing up to make a great meal later tonight and some brownies to top it off in the oven. But I've also been talking to my buddy Bennett, trying to figure out a time and place so we can meet up to try to get out for a little bit of fly fishing today, and more than anything, get a good plan for a full day of fly fishing tomorrow. So here's the Laramie River, and this is why I'm staying here through the cold. I'm gonna catch some trout in that river. There is, I believe, the historic Laramie prison. Pretty cool stuff. Oh yeah, look at those wooden watchtowers. It's like the snow's picking up. Snow is definitely starting to pick up. It's cold when hot condensation coming off of a muffler freezes immediately. That's crazy. Temps are already starting to go back down. We had our warmest part of the day. With a toasty 14 degrees and 30-mile-per-hour winds, it's time to bundle up to get out to do some fly fishing. My friend Bennett, who lives in Laramie, just hit me up. We're able to get out for an hour or so before sunset before he has to get to an evening class. This was the only patch of river that I could find that was accessible and not frozen, so we had one option for today's fishing, and the main goal of today was to not catch a fish, but figure out where we're gonna catch a fish tomorrow when we're planning on doing a full day of fly fishing. While Bennett's a Laramie local and a pretty avid fly fisher, all the spots that he was planning to take us were completely frozen over, so we were pretty much starting from scratch looking for somewhere. He suggested one other place that's just a few miles down the road. So when he took off to go to evening classes and when the sun was finally setting, I jetted over there to be able to scope that out while there was still a little bit of sunlight. But I was still feeling super eager to catch a fish, so I spent another half hour or so fishing by myself until my fishing pole was completely frozen over and the line wasn't able to go through it. And while I didn't catch a fish today, I did catch an awesome sunset when I drove to the next possible fishing spot to scope it out for tomorrow. And the next best bet is Curtis Gowdy State Park. It's probably half an hour or so outside of town, and it looks like a beautiful area where we'll have the opportunity to fish some large lakes and all sorts of different rivers and streams. And even with catching no fish and being in the extreme cold, today's fishing was awesome. But before I even think about tromping back out into some freezing cold water, I need a nice warm night playing some video games and eating some good food in the van, so that's our next move. So on our way to the parking spot for the night, we made a little detour to check out that other fishing spot just down the road, and I was so grateful that I did. The sun was still setting and there was antelope, I think they're called, walking around in the fields. The cows were out grazing. It was just a really surreal, beautiful night in the flatlands of Wyoming. And while the fishing spot itself in the area was completely frozen over other than a couple of bends on private property, I still had a sick time pulling out the camera and getting some shots with the zoom lens of these animals out enjoying their night in the freezing cold before heading to the truck stop to call it a night, play some video games, make some food, and prepare for a full day of fishing tomorrow. Before I get to sit down and play some video games and relax, I gotta get dinner going. Luckily, I'm just doing some leftovers and some fresh green beans. I try to cook with the oven as much as possible when it's really cold scenarios like this, and kind of a catch-22 because you have to have the windows open when the oven's running just from the carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide or whatever it is, the killer gases. But it definitely helps when it starts getting down near 0 degrees Fahrenheit. I went to see if Cassie had water. Yeah. Oh, and the lights are flashing on and off. I don't know if you guys just saw that, but what am I doing? The heater kind of struggles. It has to run on high for hours on end to get the van up to heat. So if I can kind of take away from that initial task of warming up the van from 0 degrees by turning on the oven, I try to do it as much as possible. So tonight we're baking some chicken sandwiches and some french fries. And then after dinner, I'm gonna whip up some brownies just to keep the oven running for as long as I can. And the brownies cooked right until about bedtime, which worked out really nice, just helping the heater run. And while dinner's going, I got Old School RuneScape going in the background. I haven't got to sit down and really play it yet. Dinner is served. And also I've been multitasking, trying to hunt down some spots to possibly go fishing tomorrow. For fishing, I'm pretty much limited to Kurt Gowdy State Park, so I'm really just looking at the map, looking for any good bends in the river that might be tight enough to keep it from freezing over. Oh my god. What? What do you think of that, Kizzy? Alright, going down. It's snowing out here for real. After eating dinner and getting brownies put into the oven, I take Cassie outside for a quick potty break before we lock up the doors for the night, and it was unbelievably cold. It was just that cold that hurts your face. The wind felt painful. The little bit of snow that was still blowing felt like BB guns hitting you in the face. It's really cold out here, I'm not gonna lie. It says that it feels like -5 out, and it definitely does feel like -5 out. Guess go buddy, but it's kind of beautiful out. Nothing like a nice crisp -5. Snow's moving pretty fast. It's pretty cold. Snow's starting to stick on the ground. Cassie, go potty. It definitely feels like -5. Go potty. Go potty. House is looking very brisk. Hold up, get in there. Damn, it's cold. It smells like brownies in here. Nice. There's seriously nothing like coming back to a van that's like 70 degrees when it's -5 out, and it just reeks of brownies in here because we responsibly had to make brownies to help keep it warm. It's nice and clean after dinner. Cassie and I are settled in playing some games. The camera feels ice cold from being out there that short a time. These extra cold nights make gaming in the van feel extra cozy, not feeling guilty about a cool hike being right outside or how I should be having a bonfire or whatever. I can guilt-free just snuggle up with Cassie in the van, put on my game of choice, some YouTube videos, eat some snacks, and just enjoy the home that I built for myself. Still just not quite it. make you mad that I'm laughing at you while you're trying to get cozy? I swear right now she's saying, you bastard, cover me up. We're gonna be on the beach soon. Guys, you enjoyed the cold while we got it. Don't be grumbling about it, because we're gonna be on the beach soon. We got a few layers of blankets laid out. You ready to get snuggled in? After spending a good few hours tromping around in freezing cold water with cold winds blasting me all day, the mildly warm temps inside the van feel amazing. I'm looking forward to trying to get out and actually catch a trout tomorrow. My hopes aren't too high, but my fingers are crossed. With the heater running full blast, the van mildly warm and smelling of brownies, we're about ready to call the night and get ready for a full day of hiking and fishing tomorrow. It's just a real quick reminder that I appreciate you guys watching, but I don't hardly make any money off these videos, so you can find a link down below to my Etsy store where I sell merch, and that would help support our travels if you're into something like that. I just released a few new designs like this fly fishing hat that I'm really stoked on based off of an upcoming fly fishing in Colorado video, and the Dan's Off the Grid Colorado inspired shirt to go along with it in a similar colorway. Along with that, we have a more feminine styled shirt powered by Mother Nature in reference to the van having solar power.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Beautiful dog.
And then of course we have the original designs, which I will be pulling off of the website soon. These were our first ones that we launched. You guys showed a sick amount of support on it, and thank you so much to everybody that bought merch. But as I come out with new merch designs, I will be pulling these old ones off eventually, including my favorite, the race inspired hat. The hats and shirts are super comfortable. I do my best to keep the pricing as low as possible and make a very small amount of profit off it. If you don't think you can afford to pick up a hat or a shirt, I appreciate you just watching, liking, subscribing, and if you just want to go click on the link and check out the store, that's helpful as well. If you guys want to pick up some merch, if not, thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys clicking the like button and YouTube stuff. Let's see if the van starts, Cass. It's 5 degrees the next morning. Oh gosh. Oh crap, the roads are snow covered and cars are moving slow. Heater didn't come on, obviously, being that I can see my breath in the van. Batteries are freaking out because it's so cold. It says that they're like 14.8 volts, which is not possible. I'm just glad that the van turned on. Let it get some heat coming in here. But it's still snowing. 5 degrees probably feels like -5.
So, if your leader's looking gnarly, we can fucking...
It's windier now. Check that out.
Oh, holy that looks nice as hell.
That's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
40 bucks. Bennett and I met up in Kurt Gowdy State Park. The sun came out and it actually warmed up quite a bit. It was a pretty nice day. We got out to do some fishing, but ended up kind of just being a lot of hiking.
Like not this other guy, Westland Champlin, dude.
You know what tree I'm talking about?
You could tie flies with this, big time.
That's what I thought. It was a giant streamer at first. I just saw him.
Where'd he go?
I think he jetted out from this pool to in front of you, like downstream.
See that where it gets deep along that edge right there?
By this point, we've been hiking an hour. Most of the spots Bennett had seen a ton of fish during springtime looked completely dead and the water was low. We're on a limited time frame, not only because the sunset coming, but also because I have Cassie the dog sitting in the van. And this was one of the first times I left her behind for a long time, in a long time. That makes sense. But with half our fishing time spent up hiking, we put a good amount of time into this hole trying to figure out where that fish went and trying to catch him until we finally started going straight upstream until it got too narrow for us to keep going upstream. With time starting to run low and hope of catching a fish even lower, we did what anybody would do. That's climb straight out of the creek, up the hill and find our way back to a trail and hurry back to where the water opens up to the pond to give one last chance of trying to catch a fish on a streamer. And even though we're a couple days deep into trying to catch a trout and haven't even seen one other than maybe a shadow of one moving quickly through the water, it's been really cool just getting out and doing some hiking with my buddy Bennett. A large reason I moved into the van is to be able to ride bikes more. I used to ride BMX every day as much as I possibly could, and fly fishing kind of reminds me of all the extreme sports that I've been into in my life, from BMX to skateboarding to dirt biking. Hiking looking for a fishing spot like this is really similar feeling to riding through a city looking for a spot to skate or ride my bike on, a little ramp in an alleyway or a cool ledge that we can spend an hour or two trying to learn some new tricks. And then when you do find a good spot and you get posted up with your friends, you start going for that one trick over and over, and maybe next try you'll get it. Or maybe next try you'll get it, and you tell your buddy, film me one more time, next try I got this. It's the same feeling with casting over and over. Every time you cast, you expect that to be the cast where you catch a fish, and it's this cool, addicting feel. And at the end of the day, whether you land your tail whip, kick flip, or land your fish, it was a good excuse to be outside, and an even better one if you had some buddies to be doing it with. So as the sun sets and we accept our fate that we aren't catching any fish today, we pack up and make our way back to our vehicles. And when we were taking off all our gear and loading everything up into the rigs, we were hit with a beautiful sunset, just to remind us that it was a good day even though we didn't get any good fish. We hike up a hill for the nearest vantage point and get Cassie out sniffing around. Well, she did awesome, by the way. She didn't tear anything up, she didn't have any accidental potties, it didn't come back to a ranger or any notes left on the van complaining about the dog barking, so I was super proud of her. We watched the sunset and shoot the shit for a little bit before I load into the van and we start making our way towards the nearest campsite. There's some wild free camping right outside of Kurt Gowdy State Park. I hate pulling up to camping areas like this in the dark. It's one thing finding a camping spot in the city in the dark, and it's a whole nother thing finding a camping spot out of the city in the dark. Someday I'll get some cool off-road lights mounted up on the van, but until then I'll just be squinting my way down the trails trying to tell how deep the hole is that I'm driving through.
I was pretty worried this gate would be closed.
So even though Bennett and I were determined to catch a fish, we're putting our trout hunting mission on pause until the summer when we have plans of going up into the Grand Tetons for a 2-week-long fishing adventure. So click subscribe to see fly fishing in the Grand Tetons video coming in the near future.
Okay, so I think this is the campsite right here. Google says we're here. I think the campsite's open. Unless there's someone tucked behind that tree, it looks like we're golden. Free camping in Wyoming! What do you know about it? Let's camp.
I warmed up my leftovers from our Thanksgiving meal. There'll be a link at the end of this video to see us cook an entire Thanksgiving meal inside of a van, which turned into a complete nightmare. I think you'd like that video. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to see future videos coming from us. If you don't mind checking out the merch store, I'd appreciate it. And if you want to order some merch, I'd appreciate that even more. Let me know you watched till the end by commenting a video idea of some sort. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.